Hey everyone, Sean Deveney here from Heavy Sports. I've got our NBA insider Steve Bulpett with me. We're going to talk about a few things that are going on around the National Basketball Association here in late August, which is usually a pretty dead time in the NBA, Steve, but no rest this summer. No rest at all, it seems.
No, there's always something going on, isn't there?
Well, I'm for it. I don't like the complete dog days of August that we used to have, so I'll take it.
Well, enjoy.
Well, thanks.
I like being able to do nothing.
Well, what I'm wondering is
one of the few things I'm good at.
Yeah, well, there's that. It's at the top of your resume, as I recall. But there is one situation obviously that's gotten most of the attention this summer and has been sort of settled. I guess we can say that now. Kevin Durant says he'll be back in Brooklyn and doesn't want to be traded anymore and doesn't want half the organization fired anymore and everything will be good. Can that possibly be true? Once you've said to the team owner, I want the coach fired, I want the GM fired, can you possibly go back and say, well, never mind, let's go out and play?
That had to be an awkward meeting, huh?
It had to be.
Hi, dude. Look, if they have success on the floor, things will be fine. I'm not sure. I think there was a leverage play here that was going on, and it didn't work. But how this stuff happens, how this stuff breaks down from now, is really going to be about not so much the chemistry with Kevin Durant and Steve Nash and Sean Marks. It's going to be about the chemistry with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. Those three primarily, and other guys have got to kind of fill in around. But those guys are going to be on their game, both physically and mentally, willing to, be inclusive to make sure that the whole works. So yeah, it's going to be how well do they play? Are they winning some games? And then it's going to be, hey, I was upset at the time, and just remember, was it the we're talking about great movies in history. Of course, the Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, and of course, Slapshot.
Oh yes.
Where at the end, where the guy starts taking his Ned Braden starts removing his hockey equipment, and the radio announcer, well, I guess we could chalk it up to the exuberance of youth. So there, it's if they start winning, things will be fine.
Yeah. I think health is probably going to still be the big question mark there. Can Kyrie stay healthy? Can Ben Simmons get on the floor and stay on the floor? That's going to be, before anything else, that's going to determine if they're going to be any good or not. But I do wonder, let's say there is a slow start. Let's say they do lose a few games. Is this a situation where Steve Nash is always going to be sort of on the razor's edge as far as what his job security is?
I suppose. But I do like the way that the owner stepped up after Durant made his ultimatum and said, we're going to do what's best for the franchise. And I think it's important for the Nets, for their franchise, and for Joe Tsai, the owner, that he follows through on that.
Yeah.
He can't get he can't get twitchy with either Nash or Marks now. And he's going to say, this guy's the coach, this guy's the GM, deal with it.
Yeah.
Putting his foot down, acting like the businessman that he is, I think was the right move. And I think is the healthy move for the Nets.
Yeah. In baseball, nothing's worse for a manager than a vote of confidence from the owner, from the GM. It's not quite that like that.
I think that's actually a good thing if it's followed through upon.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like that's just it. It's like because once, you've seen it 1,000 times, and it really bugs me. You'll see a coach get fired, and the team will start winning some games because what happens is they realize, hey, we got to dig in now and actually play and do the things that guy was asking us to do, even though he's not here anymore. Because if we play really well now, people are going to blame what happened before on him. It's going to be his fault, not ours. When, Steve Nash, made some really good plays in his time and made some turnovers when he played, but he didn't make any turnovers last year. He didn't take any bad shots last year.
Right. Yeah, and I do wonder, and it's talking about this with somebody else that, in 2007 was the comparison that was brought to me. Kobe Bryant, goes through this whole thing, and if you were paying attention back then you know that it was ugly. He was going on shows and ripping the Lakers, and he wanted to play for the Bulls, and he hated Andrew Bynum. Like, all this stuff was happening. And in the end, they didn't make a deal. They tried. They didn't make a deal for Kobe Bryant, and he wound up saying, "Okay, I'll stay in LA." And he went out, and that team really rallied. He won the MVP that year. They made the trade for Pau Gasol, and they went to the NBA Finals. And I wonder if this group has that in them. If this group can kind of pull together that bunker mentality a little bit, if Kevin Durant can be good enough to be an MVP candidate this year, if they've got that in them.
Well, look, I do think that the Nets could use a big man.
Yeah,
let's say that. But in terms of your basic question, basketball skill wise, yes, they do have that in them. But then again, like, emotionally, do they have that in them? Are they going to be able to pull it together? Are guys going to be like, is Kyrie going to give up some of what he can do on the floor to make everything else work? Are they going to buy into the whole rather than, I've got to go and do this because this, even that thought might be gallant in the moment. I have to go do what I can do to the max individually because it's going to help our team. It's fitting in. It's, making the operation work. And I'm not sure if that's there. I think that is the big question for me with the Nets. But because you look at it, it's like, Kevin Durant's one of the best players in the history of the game. Kyrie Irving, talent-wise, should have hands down been on the 75 best players off. You're just talking about pure basketball skill. He's a different kind of dude, but he's one of the few people in the league that I'd pay money to because I want to watch him do what he does. But it's not about that. We've gone back to the example 1,000 times, you and I, but Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain example. Wilt, there's never a day in Bill's life that Wilt wasn't the better basketball decathlete, but Bill understood the object of the game in a way Wilt never fully grasped, and that's why Wilt is a Hall of Fame colossus, and Bill Russell is the greatest winner in the history of team sports.
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting the operation to work right, let's go to the Lakers, who make a trade for Patrick Beverley overnight. Interesting move from them. They give up Talen Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson. Talen Horton-Tucker, who they would not give up in a Kyle Lowry trade about a year and a half ago, is now been transformed into Patrick Beverley. Do you like this move for the Lakers? Does it move the needle at all for you in terms of where that team is?
I like Patrick. Yeah, I do like the move. I like Patrick Beverley. I think I like the element that he gives a team. It can be hard to ride his emotional roller coaster. He pushes it to the edge and sometimes he steps over. But, I think his level of competitiveness, is something that I think will help the Lakers. I do.
Yeah, and I think people forget that as intense as he is defensively and as much as he's made his name on that side of the ball, he's a good 3-point shooter. I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter, and you have to respect him from that from that area, and they need that. And I agree that look, they also, if he's bringing an emotional roller coaster, then what they were an emotional paddle ride. They were last year. They were just like they couldn't. There was no emotion, and to bring a guy who's got a little hunger, a little of that, whatever you want to call his antics. That's not a bad thing for that team.
No, I do. I agree. Look, I saw what he did with Minnesota last year. Granted, a young team, it's probably easier for him to do that there. But it's also going to be a question of, Patrick Beverley's going to be Patrick Beverley. Do the guys around him with the Lakers respond? That's the question.
Yeah, and they've you've got AD and LeBron there, but they've added all these other guys who are 24, 25 years old and kind of in the thick of their just figuring out who they are as NBA players. So it might not be bad. That'll sell better with them than it would have with Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard, guys like that. But one guy we have not mentioned who might be scratching his head right now is Russell Westbrook, who is Patrick Beverley's sworn enemy, of course, going back to 2013 when Beverley was going for a steal in the playoffs. He was with Houston. Westbrook was with Oklahoma City. Westbrook hurts his knee and goes out for the rest of the playoffs. They've hated each other pretty much since. I think Beverley has sort of buried the hatchet on his side, but I don't think Westbrook has. Does this mean that Westbrook might be on the move, or do you think the Lakers are going to just say, "Hey, if you're here, you're going to have to learn to get along, guys"? Yeah,
I think they'll have to figure it out at some point. I don't think the Lakers are finished dealing. I certainly don't think that they're finished dealing. But what's going to be available to them, who wants Russell Westbrook? What team thinks it's going to be a good idea to bring in a guy to pay him a whole lot of money and, have him dominate the ball and, with questions about what he can produce for you. We know what he can produce for Russell Westbrook, and even that's going to be diminished a little bit just with time and all that. But, can he produce for a team, not just himself?
Yeah. And a lot of it's going to come down to if the Lakers put those two picks, 27 and 29, when they could be in a downward spiral, and those could be pretty valuable picks. That's going to be another factor in all of that. So one more thing for you, Stephen. That's Stephen A. Smith had some criticism this week for Jonathan Kuminga, saying he sort of shortchanged the Warriors in terms of effort last year. Have you heard anything along those lines? Do you think it's unfair to put that kind of criticism on a kid who was a 19-year-old rookie?
The people who are critical of Jonathan Kuminga include some people around the Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga's opinion of Jonathan Kuminga is very high. And you've got to put in the work and produce. I know that after the first game of Summer League, people were all over his case. Like, you've got to compete, you've got to play. He did better as Summer League went on, but that's going to be the question with him. Is he going to, commit to what he's got to do? So, yeah, I think there are questions there, but like you said, with a young kid, does he grow out of that? Does he snap out of it? Because I think he's got, we know what kind of ability he has now and what kind of potential that speaks to. So, yeah, I don't think it's unfair. I think Jonathan Kuminga's got to look at himself and say, what do I want to be? Because there are people around his team that have questions.
Yeah, and he had a 26-point game. It was around Christmas of last year. Then he come in and he played a fair amount when Draymond Green was out in March. And I think that one of the things that happened was when he's not playing, he kind of pouts and he doesn't like not playing. I think that's something that a lot of folks with the organization didn't like to see, because if you're not playing, Moody, on the other hand, just worked harder and kind of kept the same level in practice, and that's I think what they want to see from Kuminga, as I understand it.
I agree. Yeah, you're correct there. I can support what you're saying through what I've found myself. Yeah, some people get it, some people don't. There are guys who have ridiculous talent that never get anywhere. So but it's who figures it out that's going to be key. And if Jonathan Kuminga figures it out, quote unquote, there's great stuff waiting for him out there.
Yeah, they've got a lot riding on him, obviously, and I think that's Kuminga's agent on the phone there for you, Steve. So I'll let you go. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, everyone, for checking us out. Remember, heavy.com. Check out all your NBA coverage there. We appreciate it, and have a good day.